in terms of wind and solar, how much land would be used, it's less than 0.2% of the land area of Earth. Generally, people don't realize quite how much energy is reaching us from the sun. It's roughly a gigawatt per square kilometer. And the sun doesn't shine all the time, but it's if you multiply that by, say, 4 to get the continuous power, 4 or 5, then that gives you the land area of solar. And you can put wind and solar often in the same place. So a lot of places that currently have wind, you could have solar there, and you double your energy.
You can also put wind offshore. It doesn't even need to be on land, so wind is even more flexible.
You could put solar offshore too.
Yep.
So Earth is 70% water. Anyway, the point is that with a really a remarkably small amount of Earth's land area, we can go fully sustainable. Yeah.
And do the resources and raw materials exist to support this transition? We'll go through that in detail, but we do not see any insurmountable resource challenges at all. In fact, in the end, we should be mining less ore to accomplish this economy than we currently do with the fossil fuel economy, and we're going to talk through that.
Yeah, just to emphasize that again, the electrified economy will require less mining than the current economy does.
Yes.
Less, not more. Okay.
So this is the plan, and now we'll get into a little bit more of the details of the plan. Basically, 5 areas of work. First, renewably power the existing grid. Second, switch to electric vehicles. Third, switch homes, businesses, and industry heating to heat pumps. Fourth, high-temp heat delivery and storage for high-temp industrial and chemical processes, and a little bit of green hydrogen in there for chemical processes that need hydrogen. And finally, sustainably fuel planes and boats. These are the 5 areas, and we're going to go into detail on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion is that as we improve the energy density of batteries, you'll see all transportation go fully electric, with the exception of rockets. That's awkward. But you can make the fuel with CO2 and water. So you can make methane with CO2 and water. So
and in fact, you can do that with just electricity. So.
Yes, exactly. So, in fact, on Mars, if we hopefully get there at some point, the atmosphere is CO2, and there's water ice throughout Mars. So you can take the CO2 and H2O and turn that into CH4, which is methane, and oxygen. So ultimately, even rockets can be electrified.
So first, repowering the existing grid with renewables. And this is going to be a consistent theme. You'll see our estimates for the number of terawatt hours, terawatts, and trillions of investment at the bottom of the page. This is already actively occurring in front of us. 60% of the generation added to the US grid was solar in 2022. And actually, on a year-on-year basis, solar deployment is growing 50% year-on-year as of 2022. So this is a serious upswing. And if we continue this trend, this is going to be behind us before we even know it.
Yeah.
Second, switching to electric vehicles. Again, 21% reduction in fossil fuel use by doing this alone. Obviously, Tesla is heavily engaged in this activity, along with many others. Overall, EV production grew 59% year-on-year in 2022, and EVs hit an amazing 10% market share. I mean, it's an awesome milestone. I'm super excited to see that. I gotta.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously happening very rapidly, and I mean, I think really all cars will go to fully electric and autonomous, and so riding a non-autonomous gasoline car is going to be analogous to riding a horse and using a flip phone. That's basically going to be the situation. And
we actually took a somewhat conservative assumption here in terms of how many batteries are required, because the more the fleet is autonomous, the smaller the fleet needs to be, just from a utility basis. So we're not accounting for all of those benefits, or really much of those benefits at all in this number. And what does this fleet look like? Just rough view from our perspective. Of course, we could be wrong, but you can see the sort of breakdown of the fleet by millions of vehicles. Our goal is to do 20 million electric vehicles a year.
Yeah. Fewer vehicles will be needed, at least passenger vehicles,